The rain poured heavily that night, the kind that muffled the world and painted the streets with shimmering darkness. Chris adjusted his cap and sighed, staring at the screen of his phone. Another delivery, deep in the outskirts of the city, a neighborhood he didn't recognize. He hesitated for a moment but shrugged it off. Money was money. The route was unusually quiet. His bike's headlight cut through the mist, illuminating rows of dilapidated houses and twisted trees. The GPS led him to a crumbling mansion perched on a hill, its silhouette stark against the stormy sky. The address blinked on his screen. This was the place. Chris grabbed the bag, now damp from the rain, and approached the massive iron gate. It creaked loudly as he pushed it open, the sound echoing into the night. He half expected someone to greet him at the door, but instead, he was met with silence. A faint light glowed from a window on the second floor. Taking a deep breath, he knocked. The door opened before his fist landed. It was slow, deliberate, as if controlled by an unseen hand. He peered inside. "Hello!" His voice faltered. No response. Chris stepped into the dimly lit foyer, his shoes squeaking against the wooden floor. The air was cold, carrying a faint, metallic smell. A shadow flitted across the far end of the hall. His heartbeat quickened. "Hello? Food delivery," he called again, his voice echoing. A whisper answered him, faint and chilling. "Upstairs." Chris froze. He considered leaving but thought of the bad rating and the possible loss of his job. Swallowing his fear, he climbed the staircase, the steps creaking beneath him. The hallway stretched endlessly, doors on either side closed tight. At the far end, one door stood ajar, a flickering light spilling out. "Your food is here," he announced, trying to sound confident. The whisper came again, closer this time. "Come in." Chris nudged the door open with his foot. The room was empty, save for a single chair facing a mirror. A figure sat in it, back to him, completely still. The figure's head was slightly tilted, as if listening. "I have your delivery," Chris said, inching closer. The figure didn't respond. Instead, its reflection in the mirror turned to look at him. Chris stumbled back, dropping the food bag. His breathing became ragged as he realized the figure itself hadn't moved. Only its reflection had. The face in the mirror twisted into a grin, its eyes wide and unblinking. The lips parted, and the whisper became a voice, cold and sharp. "You shouldn't have come." The door slammed shut behind him. Chris bolted for it, banging on the wood and screaming. The lights flickered, and the room seemed to shrink, the walls closing in. The reflection in the mirror began to crawl out, its movements jerky and unnatural. Chris's screams mingled with the sound of thunder outside. The next morning, the mansion stood silent once more. The delivery bag lay abandoned on the porch, soaked from the night storm. The bike was gone, as if Chris had never been there. In the delivery company's app, his last status remained, "Out for delivery." No one dared check the address again.